Fell out in California one night, showed up, I was in Phoenix, had a house out in the desert. It's all been built up since, but it was a nice house then. Coyotes mourn quietly every night. I like coyotes mourning every night. They sort of add to the, you know, the scene. They add to the flavor of things when you're researching spirits. And I said, however, that night, since we just had a big meeting, and I was tired, I said, no. And Evans knocks again. I say, no, Evans. I say, go away, please. I'm tired, I'm exhausted. He goes out and he lies down in the front yard on the couch. A couple of sun couches out there, sitting in the middle of the desert. He lies down. Sun goes down, moon comes up, he's still there. Somebody stuck his head out and said, Evans, why don't you go home? Ron isn't going to see you. And he said, I've got to see him. I've got to see him. So finally, after the TV programs were all over and I had wakened, I happened to be passing by the window, and I looked out in the front yard in the bright moonlight, and here was Evan still lying there looking up at the moon philosophically. And I said, why, that boy will catch his death of moonbeams or something. I better go out. So I said, Evans, I said, this is cruel of you. I have just been up about 48, 80 hours or something. And why can't you see me about this some other time? And he said, it's important, Ron, it really is. Is I can exteriorize thetans at will that you've been talking about. We've been looking for a process that would. We knew it theoretically. We'd run into the phenomenon. We tried to do something with it. Not very much had occurred. He turns up and he says he can exteriorize them by an auditing command. Well, I said, Evan, that's interesting. He had some kind of a theory behind it and quoted it out of Scientology 880 and told me exactly how it worked, that something or other happened, or there was a little pre-advance release of the material. And he'd read it over and he said, all you have to say to him is try not to be 3 feet back of your head. I said, is that so? And he said, yeah, look. He says, puts me down in the chair, and he steps back and he says, try not to be 3 feet back of your head. And I go, I haven't been able to get back in since. So a few months later, we were all ghosts. That technique is not advised, since it has a tendency to wear out and take and split back in and all sorts of things happen. But it was the first direct exteriorization technique. A little later on, we found out you could get about 50% of the people you walk up to in the street, and you just look at them, get their attention, you know. Be 3 feet back of your head, and they go, well, what do you know? What was I doing in there? You know, that kind of reaction. Very amazing.